Hello guys, Furball the Hammy, your friendly neighborhood hamster, is back again for another Hypixel Skyblock video. So DERPY just got elected and was rolled out recently, and people were going rest in peace dungeon grinders and nonsense like that. But let's just say that the title of today's video just made it really obvious on what it is about. However, before we begin, be sure to smash the subscribe button down below, because at 30,000 subscribers, I will be doing 200 floor 7s, and due to popular demand, I will also be doing 1000 tier 5 revenants when it does come out at 30,000 subscribers. And yes, moving on, because surprise surprise, as expected, double mob health in dungeons really doesn't make dungeons much more challenging. And I've done over 20 runs since DERPY's release, and the only difference I realized that could make things different with double health were runic mobs, since they already have high health in the first place, and when doubled, yeah, it makes it kind of hard to one-shot them with one ability. Other challenges that would be made harder with double health would be mini-bosses, and yes, while that is annoying that they have a lot of health, it doesn't make them a lot harder. They just have more health, which basically means that you have to left or right click 5 seconds or 10 seconds more for every single mini boss, which really isn't that big of a deal. Also, just take note that because the mobs have double health, you should play a bit more defensively, since you can't just burst all mobs down as easily as before. But just take note of these few minor changes and play a bit more defensively, and honestly, dungeons really isn't that hard even with double health. Also, if you guys were wondering if dungeon bosses have 2 times the health, all dungeon bosses have been confirmed by Doctor and admin on the Hypixel Skyblock network that all main dungeon bosses have the same amount of health, whether it be Bonzo, whether it be Scarf, or whether it even be Necron. However, all other mobs, excluding the dungeon bosses, will have double health, ranging from your random crypt ghoul to the terracottas in floor 6. Also, some of you guys may also say that you can't sell your loot, so why do dungeons now? Well, while that is true, you guys knew that DERPY was coming, and you had 5 days in advance to prepare for DERPY's event, and to not spend all of your coins before the event, and to actually sell your dungeon drops before the event begins, to sit on a comfortable amount of coins during the event, so that you can buy a bunch of rare dungeon loot that you get while grinding dungeons, and to keep it for a few weeks or a few days until the event is over. And honestly, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. You just have to sit around with a couple items for a day or two until the event is over. So yeah, some of you guys may also be asking, but there's 50% more skill XP, so why don't you grind your set farming 19 or whatever skill average I'm at? And also, because double health doesn't make farming harder. Okay, firstly, it is because the 50% more skill XP, surprise surprise, also applies to Catacombs XP that you get, which is honestly pretty good, because right now when I complete a floor 7, I get 32,000 Catacombs XP, and that's really nice when you need a freaking 3.3 million Catacombs XP for freaking Catacombs 35, which all of you guys conveniently voted. Honestly, there's a reason why I also don't grind skill averages unlike Slayers, mainly because in my opinion, it just isn't that fun. The only reason why I used to play Slayers and now dungeons is because of RNG. However, before you guys go down commenting that you can get 64 enchanted pumpkins as an RNG drop when farming, what I'm talking here are scream-worthy RNG drops. The reason why I played dungeons and Slayers back then is because when you do grind your ass off to get an actually rare and good drop like an Overflux, a Wither chestplate, Auto Recall, Necromancer chestplate, or anything, when you do get it, you will honestly feel a sense of euphoria that you finally freaking got something that you worked so hard for. Not saying that you don't work hard for your high skill averages, but because you can track your skill average progression, when you do finally get the level 50 skill, it doesn't feel like a surprise, because basically you can track it down. However, when you do get a Wither chestplate or an actually rare drop that is good, you will honestly be more inclined to run around the house screaming like a madman to wake up your neighbors at 3 AM. With a chestplate! Holy shit! Oh my god! Again! That was oddly specific, but ignore that. Basically, the idea here is that because you don't know when you're going to get the RNG drop, when you do get it after hours and hours of grinding, it just feels so much more satisfying and so much more relief. Because like, it's a sudden surge of happiness which you cannot see coming, and because of that, it just makes it so much better. And that's why I enjoy grinding dungeons, because it has RNG and skill involved. The skill comes from the fact that you have to learn all secrets, learn the fastest routes, and learn everything dungeons has to offer in order to get the fastest runs to make more money. And the RNG drops come in to help make the runs a bit more interesting and to make you look forward to the next good drop that you will get 50 or maybe 100 runs later. And that's why I love dungeons, but this is a personal opinion. So yeah, I'm still not going to grind skills even during DERPY. But yeah, as a whole, if you guys were grinding dungeons easily before DERPY arrived and you don't care about your skills and don't mind keeping the good drops you get for a couple days to sell, I honestly say go ahead and continue grinding dungeons, because this perk is better than Paul's perk if you want Catacombs XP anyways. Double health only becomes a real issue when you were already struggling to beat the floor before DERPY. But if you were already having an easy time beating whatever floor before DERPY, even with DERPY's double health, it really wouldn't matter that much. So yeah, I do hope that this video helped you to try out a few dungeons or so during DERPY, even though it sounds insane, but in reality it really isn't that bad, and in fact I would say it's a buff for dungeons rather than a nerf. So yeah, be sure to take this opportunity to grind dungeons if you want Catacombs XP, because it really is a good opportunity to try this out. And last but not least, I hope this short video helped, and this is Flvff the Hammy, your dungeon maniac, signing out. Be sure to leave a like and to subscribe, and be sure to do your daily dungeons.